What's going on, everybody? It's podcast 1558. I'm Billy Truelove. I got my friend Josh Kingsley here from arrowheadkingdom.org, and we are going to run through week one, pick the winners. We'll be using the spread here, not doing the Dallas-Tampa Bay game, which was an awesome game of the year contender, in my opinion. And Josh, if you are ready, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Game one here, we've got Philly at Atlanta. Atlanta's got the 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah, so I think traditionally speaking, 3 points is what you give the home team, which means that Atlanta is basically getting favored by half a point, which means that Vegas essentially doesn't know what either of these teams actually are. I can't say that I know any more than that, but we'll go home field advantage. We'll take the Falcons, but we'll let the Eagles cover. This will be a close one.
Okay, I am taking I'm going to take Philly wins this. Philly's going to win this outright. We've got San Francisco at Detroit. San Francisco is the 7.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to take San Francisco and the points on this one. I think the Lions are going to be vying for the first overall pick this year.
You ain't wrong about that. I'm with you. San Francisco by 100. Detroit will be battling Houston for last this year. Here's a closer spread. We've got Seattle at Indy, where it appears Carson Wentz is going to play. Seattle is the favorite by 2.5.
Okay, that essentially means that the home field advantage is getting wiped by the Colts. I think that the Seahawks come in and kind of win this one running away, win by at least a touchdown. So got to take Seahawks outright in the spread.
Yep, I'm with you. I've got Seattle picked, I think, at least early on especially. Russell's going to cook. Things will fall apart eventually for them, but not this week against Indy. We've got the Jets in Carolina. This is a barn burner, and Carolina is the favorite by 4.5. Who you got there, Josh?
So we're in Carolina in the Sam Darnold Bowl. I think that Sam Darnold this week ends up showing the Jets what they missed out on. I think the Panthers, might win by 3 touchdowns in this one. So we'll take the Panthers outright and the spread.
I'm with you. I think the Jets are going to learn something here. Maybe they've got their guy. Maybe Wilson is the dude, but it's only going to be because they had to give up on something that they couldn't coach. I think you're right. Darnold and that team, Christian McCaffrey, pound that. They win by at least 4.5.
Yep.
Pittsburgh travels to Buffalo. Buffalo's the 6.5-point favorite. This is a damn good game to start the season off. Who you got there?
Yeah, I would say that this would probably be the one that I wouldn't touch, honestly, because you have no idea what this is going to end up looking like. There's all these early returns and thoughts that the Pittsburgh defense is going to be good, which means that they could potentially take away Buffalo's almost non-existent run game, make Allen go completely through the air. You got TJ Watt, who just got paid, who's going to be looking forward to trying to put Allen on the ground. I expect Buffalo to eke out a win, but I expect Pittsburgh to cover. I think this will be a close game that's going to come down to the wire.
Okay, yeah, I am picking Buffalo as well. Man, I don't know if they're going to do it by the 6.5. I'm a big Josh Allen fan, though. I think Josh Allen is an electric player. Everyone's looking forward. That stadium's going to be rocking. So never mind. Buffalo by at least 6.5 for sure.
Yeah, I think
Another game loaded with fireworks here is Minnesota traveling to Cincinnati, where Minnesota is the 3.5-point favorite. So like you said, the 3 points there that Cincy should be getting at home. Vegas is really liking Minnesota here by probably closer to 6 or 7. Who you got in Minnesota, Cincy?
Yeah, the only way that Minnesota is going to do anything like that is if Cincy just flat out can't stop the run at all. I honestly kind of think that's a little insulting to what Joe Burrow and his stable of wide receivers is going to be able to actually do. I think that Cincinnati defends their home turf. I still don't think they're going to be over a 500 team, but I think they'll be significantly better than last year, and they'll get themselves out of the first overall pick conversation pretty quickly. So I think they do enough to limit do enough to limit the running game from the Vikings, and they win this game and cover that spread, obviously.
Cincy coming out with a
I think
win.
Cincy
Minnesota's
comes
got
out
the
with a win. I really do.
Whew, Minnesota's got playoffs on the mind, and I agree with you. I didn't like the first round pick. I thought they could have done Joe Burrow a little bit more of a favor there by going O line. Jamar Chase has shown that I think his one target in preseason wasn't that much fun.
Yeah.
But I've got Minnesota on this one. I do think Dalvin Cook is going to be too much. And I think that they could cover that 3.5. They win by one score, probably one touchdown, and Justin Jefferson, picks up where he left off for me. Next game has some AFC implications here for a team I know Chiefs fans are watching. Arizona going to Tennessee. Tennessee's got the 3.5-point favorite. I like Tennessee here. I do believe Arizona's an exciting team. I'm a big Kyler Murray fan, and I think I hope good things for that team, that offense. But I've got Tennessee covering the 3.5 here. What about you, Josh?
Oh, 100%. Tennessee in a home opener with Julio Jones added to a receiving core that includes AJ Brown and Derrick Henry running the ball. And I mean, again, it's the home opener in Nashville. It's going to be great weather, and
Yeah.
I think Tannehill airs it out all day, and that's how that goes.
Yeah, there's going to be so many good home field advantage environments this week. Everyone finally getting back out there, getting to their church, and loving it. Next, we've got Jacksonville going to Houston. This one, oh my God. Jacksonville is the 3.5-point favorite against the team that, as you said, will most likely get the first and second pick of the 2021 draft because they are going to be horrible. I don't think they win a game this year. I certainly don't think they beat Trevor Lawrence week one. This could be one of their easier games of the season, and I still think that they certainly lose. Who you got, Jacksonville and Houston?
I've got Jacksonville. I mean, I started saying last year that there's always a team that goes from horrible to fringe playoff contention, and that's kind of who I've had my eye on since the middle of last year. Just knowing that they were going to make some wholesale changes, knowing that they were going to either win or be close in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, knowing what they found in James Robinson as a running back. I mean, I'm with you. I think they go into Houston and kind of make that Houston season miserable out of the gate.
I'm with you. Next, an AFC battle here. Well, not two teams, but we have an AFC team. The Los Angeles Chargers going to Washington. This is going to be a great game. The defense for Washington sizes up well against the Chargers, and Justin Herbert going into season two. What's been an electric career so far for him
Yep.
after last year. I've got the Chargers. The Chargers are favored by 1.5 on this on the road. So Vegas not showing their confidence in Fitzpatrick. I'm with them, even though I do think that he's going to be good for 6 or 7 games this year. I've got the Chargers with Washington going, LA going to Washington.
Yeah, so to me, this is a perfect Fitzmagic Ron Rivera game. I think Washington wins this game kind of handily. I think that they can win by a score, a touchdown. If you look, Ryan Fitzpatrick is usually the guy that everybody's rushing to the waiver wire to pick up for week 2 of the fantasy season because he goes out and does
Yeah.
something like put a bad one on the Chargers defense. I don't see any reason to think that that's not well within the realm of possibility that Fitzmagic throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, which would certainly put them in a position to win that game with what Washington's defense is supposed to be. So I would say that I would pick Washington to win by at least a field goal, which is going to cover that spread for them.
And that will do nothing but put a smile on Chiefs fans' faces as we obviously want to see the Chargers take as many L's as they can early on in
Yep,
the
yep,
season.
yep.
Another one that is going to be a must see game in my opinion is Miami traveling to New England. Um, New England is the favorite by 3.5 here at home with Mac Jones getting his first start to start off the season. I picked Miami. I believe that the defense is just too solid. I do think Mac is going to come around, but I think the defense in Miami is formidable. I think they just give Tua something that's not too complicated of a game plan to get through because I'm not a big Tua believer, but I do think that team is stacked up enough to handle New England on the road. I've got the Dolphins.
Yeah, this is another one of those that I don't think I'd touch with a 10-foot pole because I can see a handful of things playing out. I can see that the Dolphins put together a great defensive game plan for a rookie quarterback and a former Belichick defensive disciple, figuring out how to abuse rookie quarterbacks the way that Belichick has made a career out of doing. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I can see the mad genius of Belichick kind of coming back and showing his pupil, Brian Flores, how to actually run a football game, because that's normally how that goes as well. If I
Yeah.
had to, if I had to pick now, which I do because we're on camera here, I would say that I expect the Patriots to pull this one out. Which what was the spread again?
3.5.
3.5. Yeah, I don't think they cover that though. I really
Ooh,
don't.
wow.
I
So
think that
very
this
close
is
game.
very, very tight game. I think this comes down to the last second, and Belichick cements his coaching acumen and makes everything happen on like a last minute drive. And there's a little bit of talk of Mac Jones as a second coming happening after this, and it'll be a little fun watching national sports media, kind of day.
Yeah. Yeah, that will absolutely be a game to watch for. Next one here, not as difficult for myself to pick. We've got Green Bay going to New Orleans, where this game is actually not going to be played in New Orleans because of Hurricane Ida. So the point favorite is in Green Bay's corner, 3.5 points. I've got Green Bay. I got to see what Jameis Winston does here with this team for a full game. Just not sure what we're going to get out of him this year. If he comes with all the mistakes that he's known for, then it's same old Jameis Winston. If not, if he tightens that up, they could be dangerous because he's got an electric arm, um, but he just hasn't been able to show to keep the car on the road at all times. I've got Green Bay going on the road against New Orleans.
Yeah, I would say that I'm inclined to pick Green Bay as well. The only thing I'll say is just living in the Wisconsin area and seeing
Oh yeah,
firsthand how much of disharmony there was in that locker room. I have a hard time believing that that didn't affect something, and I would not be shocked to see Green Bay come out a little bit sluggish. But all things considered, they should be in the mix for everything when it comes down to winning an NFC title. So I would say I'm inclined to believe Green Bay comes in with a good plan and they win and cover that point differential.
absolutely. And then we've got the Cleveland Browns traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to face off against the Kansas City Chiefs. We are favored. That's Kansas City, who is sporting a Super Bowl MVP quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. We're favored by 6.5. I am banging the Chiefs going over 6.5 here. I think um, I know I need to calm myself down, but I made a prediction the other night when we had Rod Bloom from the Browns Blitz on. I think the Chiefs hang 40 plus on Cleveland here. The defense shows out. We take away the run game from them. I think we beat them handily by at least 2 touchdowns. Maybe it's a bit of a biased hot take, but that's where I'm at right now. So, who you got, and how are you feeling about this one, Josh?
Yeah, I agree with that. I've got a column coming out that I'll preview a little bit for Arrowhead One that's going to be dropping on Tuesday morning, where I did a pre cap is what I'm calling it. So I basically recapped what I think I'm going to watch today, and it'll come out, and then the following week I got to beat myself up for what I got right and wrong.
Nice.
I've
I
got
like that.
McCole. I've got McCole Hardman going off. I've got Kelsey having a good game, Hill having a good game. I have Mahomes taking only a couple of sacks because he does them to himself essentially, and
Yep.
the offensive line ends up being what they're supposed to be. But one of the questions that I ask is, do we have a good defense, or is there a potential Baker problem? And I think that'll be a question at the end of this game, and it could be a thing where Chris Jones is in his face the entire day. It could be a deal where he's bailing out of the pocket trying to be Mahomes, even though he's not. It could be a situation where he starts getting into fights even in week one with OBJ. I don't know. I don't see the Browns coming out as prepared as their fans would like to think they are.
And the news coming out of one Arrowhead Drive this morning is that Tyrann Mathieu will
Correct.
be eligible to play.
Correct.
That is big
Correct.
for, when once that run game gets taken away, if we're able to take it away, Tyron is going to make life hard for Baker Mayfield. So, yes, obviously, Josh and I both picking
Snead
the
too.
Chiefs to not only win, but to kill them. Yeah.
Yeah. Snead too. I think we get out of here with a couple interceptions.
It's man, and then the 20-0 train begins
Yeah,
because
exactly.
this
Exactly.
is as you know really, this is one of our top two contenders that we have to look for this season. Baltimore's already shaky. The
Yeah.
Bills are the Bills, but they have never played us close. And Cleveland is really the team that has played us the closest. Their style of
Yep.
game is a bit of kryptonite for us. So we'll see if we whoop their ass. I mean, the only thing stopping us from going 20-0 at that point for at least a couple of days will be if Patrick plays the last
Yeah,
week
it'll
of the
be
season.
us. It'll be us.
Yeah.
Which I think is the case
At-
regardless.
yeah. And after that, we've got Denver going to face off against the New York Giants. Denver, sporting a new starting quarterback at Teddy Bridgewater, gets the 2.5-point favorite. I've got Denver going into this one because I think that roster is one of the best in football. What do you think Daniel Jones and the Giants can do?
Yeah, I think that Daniel Jones is going to turn the ball over is what he's going to do. I'm right there with you. I think that Denver
Yeah.
defense goes in and kind of smacks him around, and the Danny Dimes should he be benched questions are going to be starting within the next 96
Immediately.
hours obviously. So yeah, no, I got Denver as well, and maybe that ends up being the team we're looking over our shoulder a little bit in the first half of the
Mhm.
season. That it could
Mhm.
be. That wouldn't surprise me if the Chargers keep charging and the Broncos end up putting together a halfway decent first half of the season with the defense that they put together, and really the everything on the offense but the quarterback they put together.
Yeah. And what a lot of people don't like to remember is DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson both sported 1,000-yard seasons last year in Carolina with Teddy Bridgewater. Just not crashing the car is all Teddy has to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that Denver team is loaded. I think as long as he doesn't turn the ball over a ton, they are going to win 8, 9, 10 games this year, which you're
Yeah.
right. We will be looking over our shoulder at some point this season for Denver.
Yep.
Sunday night football. I cannot wait for this. It is the Chicago Bears traveling to LA, where we are going to see Matt Stafford, the first star to ever escape the Detroit Zoo, and has a hell of a team and a hell of a coach with him. The Rams are favored by 7.5. I'm taking the Rams to cover that 7.5-point spread. What do you got, Josh?
So one of my favorite things about going to Lambeau Field, which is about 2 hours from my house, is you'll hear polka music because we're in Wisconsin, and there's this polka song called "The Bears Still Suck," and I think that we're going to find out at the beginning of the season the Bears still suck. I think Mac Nagy's going to be looking for a new job by the end of this. This isn't going to start well. I'm guessing Dalton's going to be the one playing quarterback, and Aaron
Yeah.
Donald's going to have a day with them, and we got a glistening new stadium with a glistening new quarterback and a team that thinks that they can go to the Super Bowl with a national media talking about them going to the Super Bowl on Sunday Night Football. I don't see anything other than the Bears losing by 3, maybe 4 touchdowns, which
Yeah.
is
Does
funny.
more than cover the point spread. So we're
Exactly,
going
that does
Rams
more
by
than cut.
probably 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could cover half the league's point spread in this game here.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the Bears are going to be bad, and the Rams should be good. This is going to be like the spotlight and everything. So
Absolutely. And then we button up week 1 with the Baltimore crippled Ravens traveling to Las Vegas. They I don't know if this spread has shifted at all. I can't imagine it has, but I've got Baltimore favored by 4.5 on the road to Vegas Monday Night Football. I think they do more than cover that. I don't think they need Gus Edwards to cover a 4.5-point spread against another team that I think is going to be god awful this year in the Raiders. I'm taking the Ravens, and they will definitely cover that point spread.
yeah, I think so too. One of the things I think is interesting is I have the schedule up on ESPN, and it always has the I think it's Vivid Seats that they tied to now for the tickets. You can get into this game for $188. So
Really?
we're talking Monday Night Football at Allegiant, and you can get
Yeah,
into
in
that game
Vegas.
for $188, which all that tells me is that nobody really cares about this game and they're not expecting it to be good, and you don't have any Ravens fans flying out there or anything like that. Because let's play a game called, let's go to week I think it's 13 that we end up out there, or is it week 10? Sorry, it's week 10. Let's see. Let's see what the walk in the door price still looks like for when Kansas City goes there.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Since we want to
I am
insult,
interested
since
to
we want to
see this. I
insult, since we want to insult both of these teams. All right. So when the Chiefs go there, which is week 10 for Sunday Night Football, as of right now, you're spending over 200 for a ticket to walk in the building. And
and you've got Lamar
over the
Jackson coming
offseason,
in week 1,
exactly.
and you can
Lamar
get in for
Jackson
very cheap. Wow.
can't get more than what they're trying to pump up to stop the Chiefs fans from coming in. I mean, this is crazy. All the talk over the last handful of days is that the Raiders are going to have, you know, all the glitz and glam trying to come out and everything, but it looks like you can still get nosebleed seats for not that much money. So
It's all dust and blood for the Raiders this season that they'll be taking, and they'll be doing it with 17 road games, in my opinion. As you're showing right there, there isn't a demand for seats for the Vegas natives because they don't give a shit,
yep.
and it's going to be an away game almost every week for the Raiders until they really start winning, and then they'll get those California people to come down and watch them. But until they prove that they can win, which will not be this year, that stadium is going to be a hard place to play for them. So yeah, the Raiders suck.
Yeah. No, I
That's
mean,
really all I got to say about that.
there's a little bit of love. I have family that lives in Vegas, and I have a ton of family on my wife's side from California, and I can assure you that any fandom for the Raiders out there is, you know, obligatory because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah,
And I get that just talking to my father-in-law. He's just like, oh, you know, I guess I'll kind of root for the Raiders, but I grew up a Chargers fan, and you know, I grew up in the Bay Area, so I'm a Niners fan. I'm like, okay, what I'm hearing is you're not that big of a football fan, is what
exactly.
I'm really
Yeah,
hearing. You like watching the sports more than you like getting attached to teams that just, you know, don't make you get
exactly. Yeah,
attached. Is really what it
yeah.
comes down to. So yeah, I mean, I don't see a world where there's any kind of major local following for the Raiders until they're really as good as like us.
Yeah, which will be a quarterback and new coach away. So
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely. Have you ever
see
gone to the
when they
website is
get there.
grudengonyet.com?
Oh, I did not know this was a thing. I will definitely put the link on
Pull
this.
that up right now. Is grudengonyet.com. I want to see your reaction when you pull this up.
Oh boy, is Gruden gone yet.com. Let's see here. Oh my god, this is hilarious.
Yeah,
No,
it's incredible. And then what else is going on?
and it's counting down how much time he has left on this contract. The amount, which is 6 years, 17 weeks, 4 days, 21 hours, 8 minutes, 56 seconds, and counting. And he is still owed $63.1 million. That ticker is coming down as the seconds go away. Gruden has made, and it's a running ticker of increasing. Right now, he has made $10, and we'll call it 75 cents
Since
since
we've
you
started
arrived.
talking about
Oh
that.
my God. Wow.
I
He is
mean,
making a ton of money. He is so safe. It's Carr all day for me that's on the hot seat. He's got to go. If you're going
yeah.
to give Gruden all this money, you have to let him go find his quarterback. Carr is not his guy. His guy retired, and it's Andrew Luck. And I'm telling you, if there's any hope Andrew Luck comes back, it will be with Gruden. But I don't think that happens. I do think Russell Wilson ends up in Vegas or Cleveland, actually, somewhere like that, once he gets out of Seattle after this season. That's just some hot take
Russell
shit right
Wilson is
there.
not getting Ciara to move to Cleveland. That's not happening.
We'll see. We'll see. Money
She'll move to
talks. We'll see what
Vegas.
they do.
She'll move to Vegas.
Yeah.
She'll move to Chicago. She'll
Yeah.
move to LA. She'll move to New York. That list that came out was a very real thing, and that is him
Yep.
horse trading with the other person that's along for the ride. That is
That's
100% a
funny.
real thing.
Well, then the last prediction I'm going to get from you, we've gone through all the games, but before week 1 really gets rolling tomorrow, Josh, give me your way too early Super Bowl 56 prediction.
Super Bowl 56. We're going to be beating either the Rams or the Buccaneers. It's one of those two.
I'm with you. I think it has to be one of those teams. I know you live in the area, but it's not going to be Green Bay. And I keep hearing people say like, "Well, Green Bay's prime for this. They're ready." What have they done to make this team any different than it has been the past 2 seasons that failed miserably in the NFC Championship game both times? Drafted a corner in the first round. Oh, cool. That's not going to do it. It's not going to get it done. Green Bay, if they're lucky, they'll get to the NFC Championship game. Like you said, I think the Rams or the Bucks wipe their head off, just like has been done the past 2 years. I want part of me wants to see the Bucks and make shit right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But part of me just says no. I don't want to do it because Tom rarely loses in that game. I would like to see the Rams, like you said. I want to see good things from Matt Stafford, and I want the Chiefs to win as well. So I got you. Chiefs and Rams is where my mind is at because I do think that defense will be too much for Tom Brady. I got the Chiefs and the Rams going to Super Bowl 56 as well, with the Chiefs winning that game.
One thing I'll say about Green Bay, I'll tell you who's not going out and saying the Packers have everything together is half of the fans up here. And that's
good.
a thing,
That's good to hear.
that's a thing that I don't think gets the huge amount of press. I would put the favorability rate with local fans for Rodgers at about 50-50, like truthfully. There's a level of they just don't like the general aloof nature. They don't like the Willie Go type of situation. I mean, I first moved here in 2008, which was right in the middle of the Brett Favre organizational divorce. And when they handed the reins over to Rodgers and everything, and it was crazy. It was literally watching a divorce because you had all the fans of this team and they were picking mom and dad. And that's what it was. So if you figure Ted Thompson was dad, Brett Favre was mom, there were a lot of people that went with mom. I mean, you saw Jets games on TV every single Sunday. Now, a lot of that kind of changed when he went and played for the Vikings. That did not go over well one bit. And obviously Favre came back to Green Bay and like made everything right. But no, there's definitely a lot of conflict within the fan group about what's going on in Green Bay, whose fault is it that they haven't been playing in every single Super Bowl every year. And it's an interesting time to be here for sure.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's what we wanted to do. We want to run through week 1. We'll probably get this rolling on a weekly basis so you can get your betting fix and let us tell you where to put that money. For podcast 1558, this is Billy Truelove. I got Josh Kingsley. Make sure to go like, follow, subscribe. That's podcast 1558 on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And make sure to go check out arrowheadkingdom.org right now, especially if you're not in the Kansas City area. Great place to go see where those Chiefs fans are at in your area, which is a great thing to do. I'm speaking from experience. I've lived in those places where you think you're the only Chiefs fan, especially back in the 90s. I may have only been the only Chiefs fan in Virginia at that time, but I know there's more out there now. Check it out, arrowheadkingdom.org, and we will see you next week. Go Chiefs!
Chiefs.